Okay, so good evening, everyone. If you're able to hear my voice loud and clear, just say yes into the chat. Yes, nice to see you. So if you're able to hear my voice loud and clear, just say yes so that I can understand. Fantastic. Good enough. So let's start the session. So today, as we are able to see the title, the stakeholder management, that today we are going to explore the stakeholder identification and management. Yeah. Thank you. So before that, before we start with that elements, let's try to wrap it up. What the introduction session we have done last time. So we have left with some topics, and then we will move to the stakeholder identification and the management. Okay. So the first thing is, I think, just a moment. Okay. So I think some animation issue is there. So I will share my screen here. Okay, just a moment. Yes. Very good evening to all. So I'm just sharing the screen. Okay, fine. So I hope everyone is able to see the same. Okay, so once what we're going to see is today's, let's try to explore. When you talk about a project management, right? So that data I have taken from the real estate of United States, right? So according to them, if they invest 1 billion, like $1 billion into any kind of a project. So around 122 millions was wasted due to lacking of performance. And that lacking of performance basically happened into the project management because of not understanding the project life cycle. Right? So let's try to explore what exactly the project life cycle is. In simple terms, if I want to say, every project can be divided into 4 phases. Like in some of the books, it may be also written into 5 phases, right? But generally, it depends upon my project type and what kind of division I want to make it. Right? So generally, we standardize, we divide into the 4 phases. That is the initiation, at the starting phase, then the planning phase, execution phase, and last is the closure phase. So when we talk about a initiation or the starting of the project, right? So as we have already discussed the 3 important P's of our construction industry, right? So when we are talking about a portfolio management, so basically portfolio management say what kind of a project and program I need to take care to fulfill the strategic objective. Right? So on the basis of that, my initiation of the project will be started, that why I am doing this project. Why? Right? The why we can understand in that way. Just take a case, but let me confirm that you are able to see the share screen. I hope everyone is able to see the share screen. Yeah, fine. So no concerns till that means you're able to see the screen. Okay. So now just take a case of simple example. We will try to understand with the example. Okay. So for example, we have said on the basis of my strategic objective, like my company want to increase the revenue, we want to get into a new segment, new category. Sometimes we want to develop our brand size, right? It depend upon. On the basis of that, we decide the which kind of a project I need to take care of, right? Example, right now I'm only doing the real estate project, right? But in my future or in upcoming like 5 to 8, 10 years, my company want to go for road constructions, right? So definitely if we are going to bid at the start, no one is going to entertain us, right? So how I'm going to make sure that my company will be get entertained into the category of the road construction, because we are having an enriched experience in real estate. So for that, first we will be working as a third contractor or a part side contractor, then we will try to have a joint venture with some of the players. After getting the exposure experience, right, then we will try to go solo with the road projects, right? So that depend upon if my initial stage or my intention strategic objective is why I have taken this project. I don't want to earn the money, I want to gain the exposure or experience. So in that terms, I will try to fulfill the needs of my partner or the joint venture I'm having, so that I'm getting the what exactly my strategic objective. So that is the why we are taking care of the project, right? Then we start with the planning. That is one of the most critical element we are having into the project management. That is the planning and organizing of my project. So in this, we are using the project management knowledge areas, right? What is the project management knowledge areas that we are going to see into the upcoming slide? On the basis of that knowledge areas, we are trying to explore the project management, right? So generally, as per the PM book, project management is having a 10 knowledge areas. So we will see one by one in the upcoming slide in today only, right? After that, we will go for execution phase. Execution phase is the main do phase, in which we are starting with the execution activity, in which we are tracking the activity, whatever we have planned, everything is moved according to that or that not. If not, I need to play with the resources, I need to play with the finance, I need to play with the change of the activity sequencing, vendor management. I need to take care into my execution phase. And the last phase was the handover phase or the delivery phase, which we consider as the most simplest one, but that was one of the toughest one. Because in that phase, we need to make the reconciliation statement. In that phase, whatever the frontline engineer and manager have done at the initial or the mid phase of my project, we need to take care, we need to wrap it up positively, everything at the end of the part. So that was one of the struggling phase we are having. So we need to make sure that all the documents are into the place, right? Everything is as per the contracts is we have taken care, we have done all the checklist, right? Everything as per taken care at the closure reports. Okay, so we can say the project cycle can be divided into 4 or 5 phases, right? Initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and the closing phase. I think next in that we may not have any kind of a format issue, so I can continue with here. Okay, so we discussed the 4 phases, so we can just go in little bit of sub part of that when I'm talking about the initiation of the project, right? So when we are talking about a project management, so for the first is preparing a business case, right? Business case means uh, like once I have decided that my project is feasible, I need to prepare a business case, what exactly expected from my company. Like I said, as per the strategic objective, we need to prepare a business case for that. We will try to do the scope management, means we are going to identify what our scope, which is our not part of our scope, that we try to find it out. We will try to avoid the scope creep, right? Scope creep means many times you may have observed like many projects are getting delayed over time because of the scope creep, right? Scope creep means, if I'm going to put it in a very simple example, I can say like that. Okay, so what is this creep? Creep means like many of time you have seen termite, right? Specifically into the wooden furniture, right? So there is a termite is there, right? So termites try to eat the wood very slowly, right? At an initial stage, you will not able to find it out, right? some kind of a insect or some kind of a termite is eating your furniture. Suddenly one day you will find some noise, some kind of a noise, you are trying to find it out, and then you find some kind of a dust or like at the bottom of the in the floor. So then you try to find it out from where this dust is, where this timber dust is there. So you will try to find it out the sound, then you get to know that there is a termite which is eating your furniture from inside. Similar way, when you're talking about a project, right, we don't find any kind of a script. Suddenly you find it out your project is getting overcost, right? Everything is doing fine, everything is on the track, but still you suddenly find your project is slightly getting delayed. So what is the issue? The issue is that many times we don't focus on what is our scope, and knowingly unknowingly we try to do the work which is not our part, and because of that, slowly my project is starting getting delayed. I will give you one example. Just take a case sometimes, and it is very, but obviously we can't avoid it. Like, we can't avoid it means it is very common. Sometimes client request us, kindly send our your four labors, we have want to have a work there. Okay, and that is, being as a contractor we used to do that. Okay, fine, take our four labor. Sometimes they said, okay, just prepare, just because you are having the hydraulic excavator, because you are doing the excavation, so can you do this, just a surface dressing of this particular patch? I know it is not your scope of work, but so that the other contractor who is working, who is not having the excavator right now, so that will be very comfortable for us. So we move our machine, because client is said that, right? So we move our machine from that particular part, and somewhere around it is disturbing our role, our scope of work, and that's why it is called as a scope creep. Suddenly try to get evolved, and we at the end we said, yeah, everything is going smooth, then why the labor charges are more incurred into my project? We didn't get to know that, because the small things is made a big element at the last. Then we move to the planning phase, right? So create a workflow, preparing a WBS, right? Doing the labor management, estimating the budget as per the like as per the quantity estimation, right? So that is included in the part of the planning, and then we go for execution phase, right? Briefing the team members, keeping everyone onto the same page, right? Like doing the initial level of a meeting, deciding the sequence order, who is going to report whom, how we are going to have the communication language between the client, even within the departments, who is going to take care of if any kind of issues were arise between the department to department or between the client. So all that hierarchy, all that thing will be has been sorted out here. Then execution work is going on, how we are going to take care of the documentation part. Is there any frequent meetings are there which we need to take care of the quality or safety or the scope of the work? Everything will be taken care in this particular execution phase. And then there will be a closing phase, in which you're going to prepare documents of the closure, you're going to prepare the reconciliation statement, right? You're going to take care of all the elements at the end. Okay, now we understand the project life cycle. That is very simple, right? So when I'm talking about a project management, what are the documents we need to prepare? We understand project life cycle. Okay, it can be divided into four phases, right? So what kind of document we need to follow, what we need to do in our construction site when you're talking about a project management, we are going to get into this particular slide. So when I'm talking about initiation, so first definitely develop the business case. Business case means feasibility report, right? Before the going for feasibility report, what is the business element, or what is the, as per my portfolio, what is the case is there, right? Then feasibility, technical feasibility or financial feasibility, social cost benefit, that I need to take care into the feasibility study. After the project is feasible, like generally in construction we used to take care of the technical feasibility. Okay, once the project is feasible, I'm going to create the project charter, right? So project charter is the first and the most prime document which we are going to prepare into our site. Okay, so we are also going to take care in the next session, we are going to do the project charter. We are going to prepare a project charter for a particular project. So project charter is the first document which we are going to do, right? Then we are going to establish our team, right? Setting up of us that how the flow will be happen, right? Performance review, how we are going to take care. So that will be taken care into the initiation phase, means setting of the office and all that stuff. Then we are going to start with the planning. So project planning, resource planning. In that, labors, everything is come around, material planning is coming around, then financial planning, right? Quality plan, risk plan, all these things we are going to taken care into the, even the vendor management, procurement, everything will be taken care into the planning phase. In execution, we are going to take care of the cost, quality, time management, risk involved, risk management. We are going to, so we are going to have the 4 session on the risk management. So all these things we are going to take care into the execution part, and then we go for a closure phase. Right? That will be going for a project closure. So as we are having only 4 sessions, so we were trying to take the important documents, how we are going to prepare into the site, into the upcoming sessions. Okay, so we already understood the project life cycle. Even we understand where the effort will be required. So at the initial stage, project initiation stage, which is also known as the concept, effort is less, right? So when you're starting with the planning, effort is increasing. The main effort will be required at the execution phase. And when again you're moving to the finishing level or handover, again the efforts are on the reducing graph. Okay. Now, just a moment. Again, I'm having a small issue. So let me share the screen. I think there is some kind of a problems are there into this format. Okay. Now, when we talk about a project management, so who is going to take care of the projects, right? So everyone knows that a project manager. So what are the things we need to take care whenever we want to become a project manager? So that is a very important phase. I'm not going to discuss theoretically, but let's try to create an impression on our brain, right? If I'm going to ask, just like if I'm going to ask how many of you want to become a project manager, I think everyone will say yes, we want to become a project manager. But if I'm going to ask what you need to do to become a project manager, that time we need to just give a thought. Okay, what exactly I need to do to become a project manager? So let's try to understand in a step-by-step manner. The first thing is that education, what education you require. So definitely you may be required any kind of a degree. It may be a diploma, degree, specifically into the civil engineering, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, or the architecture. That depend upon which kind of a project you are doing. If you're talking about a real estate project or civil engineering, architecture degree will work more. But if you talk about industrial projects, mechanical engineering degree will work most. If you talk about which is having a lot of electrical things involved, so electrical engineering may also help you around to taken care or to reach to space of the project manager. Now, why I'm saying that even diploma is fine or degree is fine, right? The reason is that definitely the more strong education background you're going to have, if you have an MBA or if you have a postgraduate into some kind of advanced courses, definitely that you're going to help you out to climb the position fast. But that doesn't mean a diploma holder or a bachelor level person not going to reach the point. Definitely he's going to reach the point, but he's going to take a little bit of more time as compared to the person who's having a higher education, right? I will give an example. I hope everyone knows the L&T, Larsen and Turbo, right? The company CMD, that is the AM who is right now retired from the company, for which the company has changed the retirement age 4 times because they don't want to leave this MD and the chairman, AM sir, right? So for that, they changed the company policy of retirement age 4 times because they don't want that he should be leaving the company, right? That person was a simple diploma holder of civil engineering, but still he became the MD and CEO of the India's top construction company. And what is his education qualification? Just a diploma. So definitely education matters, but important is your hard work, dedication, and the learning cycle. Necessary skills, if I'm talking about, definitely you should be having a management skill, communication skill, interpersonal skill that you need to be required. As if you're able to see that diagram, right? So I always used to say, uh, those who want to become a project manager, now they should be having a management kida into their brain. What is that management kida is, right? You need to think. I will not say you need to think every time the out of the box or something around. No, just you need to make sure that you're doing the hard work. No doubt, in our industry, the hardworking people is only going to survive, right? And with hardworking, you should be also the smart one. Definitely. Right? Only by doing the hard work is not going to make you a project manager. You should be also knowing how to do the smart work. Right? I will tell you a small story. that is going to open your mind what I want to say that from the management kida, right? So those who want to become a project manager, now those who are intending to become, you should be putting around your brain into that management kida, right? What is that? I will tell you one story, which is my favorite story. uh, there was a guy into the New York, right? So he has done some BA, not a bachelor's in arts. So some the BA of that New York was relevant with to that course. So he is doing his bachelor's degree, right? So in the final, when he is into the final year, that time he got placed, right? So he was very happy, like, okay, everything is sorted out, the life is set. Now got the placement in a decent company, have a decent package, right? So everything was so sorted, right? So then when he joined the company, so he get to know that the company who's hired him, right? So the responsibility of his is he's a supervisor, right? So basically, the company who's hired or who has placed him, they're having a contract of cleaning the New York City roads, right? So they're having around like almost 60 to 70% of the road cleaning was to there, and they have all the like around 5 years of the contract, right? So means all the New York roads need to be cleaned by their agency or their company only, right? So now he's educated person. Definitely, he's not going to sweep the road, but he's a supervisor. Right? So when he joined the first day, so he observed like what is his role, because he's the he that why I'm telling the story, because that person was the having the management insect or the management kida into his brain, right? So he's just observing the first day, right? What is my job work like? There are around four people, or sorry, three people are already working under him, right? So they have already divided the patch of the road, depend upon, like, for example, the person who is taking care of the main road, he's having the small patch of 3 kilometer. The person who's taking the secondary road, he's having around 6 to 7 kilometer. The person who's taking care of the very tertiary road, very inside roads, right, where not that much of traffic is there, so he's having around 9 to 10 kilometer of the patch. So they have already divided as per the traffic load. They are in every morning they are just cleaning, uh, sweeping the road clean. They're making a heap of the garbage, right? Then a truck used to be come and they used to put that all the garbage one by one into the truck. So the thing was very sorted. So his role was just to allow out everyone is there, just to allow out if anyone want to go for a leave, so who's going to take care of that particular patch of the road. So that everything he need to just manage. If any kind of issue was there, any kind of a complaint is there, his job was to just take care of that. Because he's having a management kit, he observed the things for 3 days. Okay, at the end of the third day, when everyone is just like at the end date, so he said, I want to have a meeting tomorrow. So everyone said, meeting in which concern? So he said, uh, I think we can work much more efficiently, much more smartly, right? And if you everyone is agree, we can save 50% of our time with the same equipments we are using right now. So everyone say 50% of the time means, right? Everyone start imagine. Right now we require around 4.5 to 5 years, 5 hours of a work daily. Means we can go into home in 2 to 3 hours. So everyone was quite happy. And even when the supervisor moved away, they started. The youngster just joined the company and now he's going to teach us. Right? He's saying 50%, saving the 50% of the time. Like I am doing the work from last 8 years. I didn't able to find anything, and he's saying just save 50% of time. Okay, not an issue. He's the senior supervisor. Let's come tomorrow to the meeting. We will have a tea. We will just enjoy that element, right? So everyone having a like somewhere into the herd, that should be having like the senior should have some kind of a good thought or process so that we will go early into the home. And even they said like just attend the meeting. Let's see what exactly he's saying. So next day when they meet, so he said, see, uh, I'm not going to say कि we are going to bring some new technology or new element. We are not going to put any kind of a burden on our company. We are going to use the same resources, but the working fashion will be different. So he said, all the three said, sir, what is the fashion we are doing? Like right now, we are working in individual part. We are collecting the garbage, then the truck is come, right? So every individual, for example, if my patch is 5 kilometer, so all whatever the heap I have created, like I maybe created a heap around like 3 to 4 meters, 6 meters, that depend upon how much garbage is there, right? Sometimes very less garbage is there, so for around 10, 10, 20, 20 meters there will be one heap, that depend upon, right? So all that heap will be put into the truck and the truck will move away. So he said, yes, we are going to do the same job, but into slightly different manner. What is the manner? Other than working individually, patch wise, we all, right? We all will work parallelly. How we are going to do the work? We are going to sit into the truck. Other than bringing the truck at last, right? We all going to sit. We are going to collect the garbage with the same equipment right now which we are using. Once the garbage is like more, we like you all three going to fill that garbage into the truck, right? So that whatever we are able to do in the series work, we can able to do all our work in less than 50% of the time with the same resources. Okay, so just I hope everyone enjoyed the story and uh, have that learning, right? Similar way, just to make the same element, we can see this. Everything of doing the work, we can have a different methods. It depend upon your approach, your prospect, right? Now, what is my interest? Just okay. So, what is my interest? What I want to know? I'm just running a poll. So whatever the story I have put it around, it, I just want to tell like what you learn from this story. Right? You just need to pitch me upon what was your learning, what you learned from this story. Whatever. If you not learn anything, you can just say not learn anything. Whatever you're learning is just put me around here. Okay, good. Okay, Albert is saying financial management good. Javed is saying teamwork and planning fantastic. Lunga is saying nothing was learning. Okay, not an issue. George is saying he changed work methodology using the same equipment and people. Fantastic. Means he used the same human resources, same equipment resources, but still he worked focus on the improvisation of the methodology. Fantastic, George. Mohit is saying think outside of the box, try to break the routine work. Okay, good enough, Mohit. Kennedy is saying importance of project planning. Okay. With the resources available, one is able to achieve more or efficiency. Good, fantastic. Peter is saying, I'm learning more about the project management and portfolio management together, human resource management. Okay, okay, good enough. Good planning and critical thinking skills, fantastic. Achieving project activities with less resources in short time frame. Fantastic, good enough, good enough. That was our expert views, fantastic. Now, I will tell you very important lesson which you need to keep in your mind throughout your life. Those who are working into the construction industry, or it may be you work in some other industry, right? Whatever right I'm going to tell in next couple of minutes, just put into your brain. That is very important. Okay, fine. Now, what you need to remember is what I said in the story. He was a supervisor, right? Right now, I'm comparing that supervisor as my project manager. When I'm talking about a project, the same their task of cleaning the road was their project. Right? That was a daily activity, na? And that project was cleaning the road. And he's the project manager. Even he's the project manager, the apex person of that particular site. Still, what he said to improvise the process, he said, I am also going to be a part of the process. He himself involved into the process. He sit with them. He makes sure that he's helping them into the collecting of the garbage so that the system will be work much more efficiently. Definitely, he's not helping them to put the garbage that they can do. Definitely, all the three can do that, take care. But he himself involved into the process. Those who want to become a good project manager, once you're going to get higher ranking, right? Right now you may be junior engineer, senior engineer, assistant construction managers, manager, whatever. As you're going to move up, always try to involve yourself into the actual execution. Execution means if even if you're into the planning department, try to involve yourself, not give the complete task to someone. Okay, do this thing and come to me. Definitely let him do that, but try to understand what is the process, what is the flow of the ideas, what is the concept behind why we have done like this. Is there any better way to do that same? That is the most important element, right? If you're working into the execution, if you're only going to be in your container and you think like everything is going to work smooth, it can be work smooth, but the more you're going to involve yourself, the team is going to perform better, the overall methodology is going to be improved. Okay, and there is always a way of doing the things into different forms. That also we learn from the story. I hope everyone is going to remember this learning. Okay, yes, everyone is with me. Just say yes if you're with me. Okay, okay, fantastic, thank you. Okay, now let's continue. Yeah, thank you, Javed. Now, what is the role of a project manager? Definitely, project manager is having a lot of responsibility. Some of them I have pitched it here, like keep the project organized, create a timeline, track the budget, motivate the team. Definitely, project manager is having a much more bigger and the vast role to play. Now, let's come to the part of the project management knowledge areas. Right, so that is a very important and critical part of my project management. Okay, so what PM book says that we will try to understand. It says an approach toward the project management can be recognized internationally, right? So like PM book is it is international standard, follows it, followed in every country, the same standard will be there, right? Now what they are doing, they have applied different approaches, or we can say different knowledge areas which is required to execute the complete project management. Okay, my voice is not audible to others also. My voice is audible. Just let me know if you're able to hear my voice loud and clear. Okay, yeah, fine. Thank you, Javed. Fine. So now when we're talking about, sorry, just refresh your side. It may be a issue from your side. Okay, fine. Thank you. So now see, the project management, like the PMI or PM book, divided the whole project management into 10 parts. Okay, divided into the 10 parts. Okay, fine. Thank you, everyone. So it is divided into 10 parts. What is the 10 part? The first is the scope management, time management, cost management, resource management, communication management, quality management, procurement management, risk management, stakeholder management, and the last was the integration management. Okay, thank you. Right. So this is the thing which have divided the whole project management into this knowledge areas. Right. Even if some of you may be preparing for the PMP exams, right? So you may expect the question from this. Okay, Sony, I think there may be a slight issues from your side. I'll request you uh, kindly refresh your screen. Okay, kindly refresh your screen so that it will be sorted out from your end. Okay, yeah. Now the question is, okay, sir, the whole project management is divided into this knowledge area that we got it, right? But the question is like, which are the different knowledge areas we are having? So I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, I hope everyone is able to see my whiteboard. Just say yes if you're able to see my whiteboard. Okay, fine. Thank you. So now the thing is that, sir, okay, PM book says, PMI says divided into knowledge areas, but 10 knowledge areas, which are the knowledge areas, how to remember is, so I will tell you very simple technique, very simple technique. Okay. Now what we need to do is just take a case. The first Everyone knows the project management triangle, right? The project management triangle, or also known as a triple constraint of our project management. What is that? That is scope management, right? Cost management and the time management. Scope management, cost management, and the time management we are having. And the thing will be going to take place at the center is the quality. I hope everyone knows the triple constraint of our project management. So every project will be dependent on these three factors: scope, cost, and the time. Why it is called as a triangle, right? Triple constant triangle. The reason is that if I'm going to increase, for example, just take a case of scope and time, right? If this is a triangle, this is the scope, and this is the triangle, oh sorry, time. So if I'm going to increase this part of the triangle, if scope is increasing, it is also increasing the time. If I'm going to take this part of the triangle, right, this corner, if I'm going to increase the scope, cost is also increasing, right? If I'm increasing the time, cost is also increasing, and everything is linked with the quality at the center, right? So this is known as a triple constraint of the project management. Okay, now for doing this element I require a team. So definitely I'm going to have my project team, right? I am having my vendor team, right? And I am having my human resource management, like all that labor management, all that HRM. Okay, now I am having this triple constraint, and I am having this particular part. So how both of them is going to communicate? They are going to communicate by a communication management. How they're going to communicate? They're going to communicate a communication management, because the labor team which I'm having and their triple constraint, right? Definitely for doing this work, I require a team. And how they're going to integrate? They're going to integrate with the communication management, that is the CM. Okay. When I'm taking care of the three constraints, basically I'm taking care of the risk management here. This is the, I'm having the risk management, and all this thing is involved into the integration management, project integration management. So whatever the learning you have seen, right, whatever the knowledge area we have seen, this is the scope management, time management, cost management, quality management, vendor management, human resource management, project team management, communication management, and integration of the management, right? So whatever we have seen here, these are the things, right? Now see one by one. That was scope management, time management, cost management, resource management. Resource management means is HRM, human resource management, HRM. Right? Communication management between them, quality management, procurement is the vendor management, risk management, stakeholder management, and the project integration management. So these are the things we can keep in our mind. Okay. Everyone is sorted with that. Everyone is clear with that elements. Okay, good enough. Now let's move to the next part. This is the very important. I have taken this snap from the PM book only. What that says, right? Now the whole project management I have put into one slide. Right? Just try to understand it, right? So these are my knowledge areas. Just see the dark yellow, the first column. These are the knowledge areas I am having. Whatever integration, scope, schedule, quality, all that I have written. Second, the right, see the first row. That is the process group. Process group means my project life cycle: initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and the closing. So for combining both of them, right, what are the documents is going to require into my project management that we have written into this particular part. For example, just try to see. First, initiation, what is the document I'm going to require? That is a developer project charter. Developer project charter. So which we are going to see into the next session, right? Then next is the planning, develop a project management. Right? Similarly, when I'm talking about a scope, so plan the scope management, create a WBS. So all these things are the document I'm going to prepare, and that is the way I'm going to do my project management phase into my actual site. Right? Okay, let's see. When you're going to see the one by one, then you're going to understand it better, in much more better approach. Okay, so now let's move to the very important part. For example, here we can see see the last row. See the last row, stakeholder management. Right now we are covering the stakeholder management right now. So you're going to get the element very clear. So what are the things we have written at the initiation stage when my project is started? What is the stage I need to do? Identify the stakeholders. Identify stakeholders. Next, in the planning phase, what I need to do? Plan the stakeholder engagement. How you're going to engage your stakeholders? Okay. In execution phase, manage stakeholder engagement. Now you need to manage them. Right? And in monitor and controlling phase, monitor the stakeholder management. So now you're able to understand, as my project is moving into different phase at the start, then planning, then execution. Accordingly, my document is also taking a form, different form, right? So now when we are going to do this stakeholder management today, so the things will be much more clear into your side. Okay, so can we start with the stakeholder identification and management? Okay, everyone is with me? Just say yes if you're with me. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So let's start. Good enough. Okay, so now let's try to see the nutshell before starting with the bit and the bite of the stakeholder management. If I'm going to talk, if I need to make my stakeholder identification and management appropriately good enough, right? How is the element flow, but how the things are flow into my project management? The first thing is I'm going to do is identify your stakeholders. Identify who all are the stakeholders of your project, right? Then evaluate them. Evaluate means analyze them. Then prepare a strategy on the basis of your analysis. And once you prepare the strategy, work on it to manage them. Right? If anything is plus or minus happening, again, if some kind of new stakeholders are occurring or they're not able to get into elements, try to change the strategy, and this process rotates so that you can successfully handle your stakeholders. Now, before I pitching around, like what I'm interested to know, I'm just interested to know. Yes. So I'm interested to know what you understand by a stakeholder. We are using the word stakeholder identification and analysis, manage the stakeholder, right? But what is the stakeholder? What do we understand by a stakeholder into my project management? So I just want to know. Pitch into a very simple, whatever your understanding is about the stakeholders. Some of you maybe think like stakeholders may be those who are invested into the project, or those who may be having the stakes or the shareholding of the company. Okay, fine, good enough. Krishna is saying client. Okay, good enough. Okay, George is saying individual or a group of people project can impact or impacted. Fantastic, George. There I saying people interested in the project and those affected by the project. Fantastic. Key important players into the project. It can mean an investor, owner, and beneficiary. Fantastic. Good enough. So I'm getting it. Now I got the nerve. Like you're getting that. What is the stakeholder? Let's try to explore into much more deep. Let's see what the PMI says about the stakeholder. What is a stakeholder? What is the definition as per the Project Management Institute? They are saying project stakeholder refers to an individual, a group, organization, institute, anyone who may affect, right? It may be a positively or it may be a negatively due to the project. They are called the stakeholders. Right? Again, I'm repeating. It may be individual, group, organization, institute, government, right? Anybody. It may be individual or it may be any big body. Maybe getting influence or maybe getting affected. It may be positively, it may be negatively. All are my stakeholders. So it may be my client, it may be my contractor, it may be my project team, it may be the neighboring society, it may be the environmentalist, it may be the local politician, it may be the local residents. Everyone is my stakeholder. Everyone who is directly indirectly involved into my project, who may be positively or negatively get influenced due to my project. Everyone is my stakeholder. Okay, that is sorted. Okay, now how to carry out the stakeholder analysis, or why to carry out, then we will see how to carry the stakeholder analysis. Whenever we are doing, what is the first aim we are having? The first aim is identify the stakeholder and assess how likely they are going to be impacted due to the project. What is my aim of doing this stakeholder identification analysis? I want to identify which are my stakeholders and how likely they are going to get impacted. That I want to know. For example, generally, if any kind of a dam is happening, right? So it may be a, we that say the farmers or the local people are asking for a compensation, right? So I want to identify who are the stakeholders and how much likely they are going to get impacted. Definitely, they are going to get impacted, but how likely? That I want to know. The goal is develop a cooperation. What is the main reason why I'm doing this thing? Try to understand it. Develop a cooperation between the stakeholder and the project team so that your project run smoothly and it can be completed successfully, so that no turbulence is going to happen into my project. I will give you one live example. uh, Anyone heard of the Palace Royal, or I can say, uh, okay, I think one of okay, fine, like if you heard of the project name Palace Royal, right? So that was one of the, yeah, so that is one of the tallest building into the country, right? India. But the reason was that they may have not able to carry out the stakeholders that much, yeah, that much of appropriately. Because of that, there are a lot of I can say element was one has been raised, and the project has been stopped for a very very long period, right? Very very long period, because somewhere around the stakeholder was not able to given a proper justification. Yes, Anuradha, I know. Similar way, for example, just take one of the another prestigious project. Just take a case of okay, statue of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj that used to be into the Arabic Sea. That one of the very big project, very prestigious project. That project is completely right now into the scrap. Not, I will not say the scrap, but right now into the very hold position. The reason is that they're not able to take care of the stakeholders. One of the agencies from the Mumbai, they claim that if we are going to prepare that much of big statue into the Arabic Sea, that may influence or that may impact negatively to the sea bodies. Eh, and that time they are not able to give the proper justification to the stakeholders, and that is the reason the case, the part will move to the court, and the court has put a stop on that particular project, and now it is going on like giving the justification and everything, and that was, it was completely into the hold. Okay, now when it should be done, now the when I need to take care of the stakeholder identification and analysis, the important is at the beginning of the project, as early as possible, right? But that doesn't mean ki, once your project is started you can't do the stakeholder identification analysis. Definitely you can do it, but important is the early you start, the better you are able to do the management. The project will be like, once I feel the thirst and then I'm going to find the water, I'm trying to search the dig for the well, it is not going to make a logic, right? So when the issue was raised, local issues was raised, then you're going to find out who are the stakeholders, why they are doing that, like stopping or doing that, what we call, making a nonsense or making the work to stop. So after the issue was raised or issue was started, then it's not going to make a logic to make that element, right? So before, as early as you're going to start the stakeholder identification analysis, that is going to be a much more simpler part. Now, the real estate project really need it? The answer is yes, absolutely. The project, real estate project or the construction project industry require the stakeholder identification and the analysis, because we have seen many projects, very very big projects, very influential projects, even stop abruptly. I will give you one more example, right? I was there into a project. If anyone is from Odisha, they may know of that. There was a Tata Steel plant in Kalinganagar. Okay, it was a very big project, like around, just take a case of around 8 8 to 9 kilometer was the area in kilometer square. The project was very big, like approximately 6,500 crores, the first phase only, right? Now the thing was, who is the client? Tata was the client, okay, and L&T was the contractor. Now the element is, when at the very initial stage, when the Tata and L&T start working on, basically L&T was the prime contractor. So when they start working on that, so that time the area was completely covered with the forest and the tribal areas. Right? So they have started with putting with the arrow and just killing any kind of engineer. Right. So all these things, like at the initial stage, the contractor has kept some of the like securities and even the dogs. So they used to kill the dogs by the arrows. Right. So this thing has happened. Okay. So now the volume is better. Able to hear my voice, Mohammed? Now the voice is fine. Okay, fine. Good enough. So yes. So that, in that particular case, when I'm talking about, yeah, thank you. So when we are talking about that particular project, so that they used to kill, believe me, like they killed around two engineers. There was a firing between, lot of police case was there at a very initial stage. But how the Tata or the L&T is able to make that project finish smoothly? Only by properly focus on stakeholder identification and analysis. I will give you one example, the same project example, how they used to manage it, because I was there. So, like, you will be laughing by seeing that what they are doing here, what they are doing. But that is a tactics, how efficiently you're going to manage your stakeholders, right? So even at the like mid of the project, because when the project, the Tata has spent a lot of amount on their steel plant, in the thousands of the crores, like the whole project is working very smoothly. So the local issues has increased that much, because the local politicians knows this is a good time. If you're going to make this projects stop, the client and the contractor is ready to give anything, right? So they try to create it, so to some extent to take care of the locals, right? So definitely, the Tata company has make the school, taken care of the children, all that thing was fine, that is good. Created a hospital, that is a element, fine, not an issue. When the project is for a longer run, you need to do it. But one of the strategy which I have seen first time, to taken care of the local people, what they did, they said ki, we are going to give the job. At the initial said na, they said the job. Now the local people is trying to take that point, and they said, like, yes, the ladies, you maybe give the job to the gents, they may be doing the job of the labor or this helper or whatsoever, right? Ladies, some of the ladies want the job, definitely, from every homes, like houses where there is a, like, ladies are there or girls are there. So you need to make sure that you are giving the job to them also. Now that maximum, like, I will not the everyone, but maximum people at that particular category is like not educated, like not even the, not having a basic education also, right? So what kind of a job they can offer? Even they are not ready to work, they are not going to work as a labor also, and they want a salary also, right? Now what is the solution they are taken out? What they said, okay, we will give you the salary, but if the company said, I'm going to give the salary, if you don't need to do anything, so definitely everyone wants the salary, the whole town, the whole city wants the salary. So what they said, we will be sending one bus at particular places. If you want a salary, right? So you need to board the bus, come into the site. So they have created an open space for them. Just put a hut at the top. So they need to be sit. They need to sit for 4 hours. Just sit idly. You may chit chat. You want to do any work of your personal, you can do at that particular open space, right? After 4 hours, you need to board that bus. The bus will be going to like leave you at your place. On the basis of that, your attendance will be put. Out of 30 days, you were present for 15 days. So whatever the salary has been allocated you, you got the 50%. So this thing also has done into the Tata so that the stakeholders need to be identified and need to be managed. Are you able to see the example? Like simply giving the salary only so that if local people are with them, even the politician want to influence, they will not able to influence that much of easily. I hope everyone understood that with the example. Everyone is with me? Yeah? Okay. Good enough. Fine. Now let's move to the next part. Now let's move to the technical part. Now, how the stakeholder will be identified? Right? The answer is by brainstorming. Brainstorming means you need to discuss with your team who all may be the probable people who may get influenced or affected due to my project, right? I need to identify that. I can easily able to identify it by the brainstorming, right? So if I'm going to see any site, if you're a representative of that site or a project manager or an engineer, so definitely you can find it out like who are my stakeholders of this particular project. You can list it down so that you can do by the brainstorming. Now the second is identify the first step. Second step is prioritize your stakeholder. You need to give the priority. How I'm going to choose the priority? For that, I'm going to follow one matrix that is known as a PI matrix. PI means power index matrix. So what is that matrix? We are going to see in the next session, means the next slide. Right? And the third part is once you have prioritized them, then understand and manage the key stakeholders by putting out the strategies. Okay, so understand and manage them. So when I'm talking about a stakeholder, I can broadly classify the stakeholder into two parts. The first is the internal stakeholders, and second is the external stakeholders. Internal stakeholders means you maybe talk about workers, project team, project managers, banks which sponsored, customers, clients. They are all my internal stakeholders. Who are the external stakeholders? It may be the local society, like media, local politicians. It may be some of the PP like municipal corporations, right? Those who are giving me permission, environmentalists, they are all become my external stakeholder. It may be some of the local people staying surrounding of the project. They all become my external stakeholders, right? So we can broadly classify into the internal and the external stakeholders. Now, the question was how to prioritize them, right? That depend upon, I already said, power and interest matrix. Now let's see what is that matrix is. This is the matrix, right? Now try to see in the x-axis bottom interest, and in the y-axis this is the power, right? So once I am seeing how exactly the person need to give the priority on the basis of how much interest he is having on my project and how much power he's having to influence my project. Again, listen to me. How I'm going to give the priority, how much interest he's having into my project, and how much power he's having to influence my project. On the basis of that, I'm going to categorize them. So it just take an example of if the person is having a low interest and the low power, right? See the first, the just the first part, low interest and low power. I just need to monitor them. So effort is required is very, very minimum. Now see the interest part, right hand side. Interest is high. Interest is high, very interested into the project. But power is very low. Keep them informed. Right? Next, see, interest is low, but power is high. Keep them satisfied. I'm being as a local politician, I'm not having interest in your project, but I am very powerful. You need to keep me satisfied. Interest is high, power is high. Manage them very, very closely. It may be your client, it may be the municipal corporation who's giving the permission, he may be the landowner who's having a joint venture with you. They're having a high interest and even the high power to influence your project. So you need to manage them closely. I will give one more example. Just take a case of your parents, right? Your parents are having a lot of interest into your project, but do they have a high power? They're having a very low power. So what you're going to do is high interest, low power. Keep them informed. Let me example of you take your boss. Your boss is having high interest on your project and power is also very high. Manage them closely. Getting the point? On the basis of this, we are going to arrange this particular part. Right? Now see the colorful patch of the slide. Now what they're saying, on the basis of allocation, I need to prioritize, right? If high power, high interest is there, I need to manage them closely. Means full engage these people and make greatest effort to satisfy them. Right? High power, but interest is less. Keep satisfied them. So put enough work so that the people will get satisfied. Whatever there may be a concerns with them, try to sort it out. Low power, but highly interested people. Keep them informed so that not any kind of issue will be raised in future. Low power, low interest, monitor them, right? Don't ignore them and try to communicate with them in whatever the language they want to. It may be in the terms of signboard, it may be in terms of magazine, it may be in terms of any other kind of a form. So you need to take care in this particular prospect. Now, anyone is having any doubt into PI matrix, just let me know before we move to the next. How we are going to do it, that I'm going to tell you in the next. But any kind of a basic queries into this PI matrix, just let me know. Clear? Everyone is clear? Or should I repeat one more time? Because I'm not finding out everyone is like just clear. Clear? Okay, fine. So no one is having a doubt? Okay, fine. So, okay, now many of you are saying, so now I will move next. Okay, good enough. Okay, so that is the way I can do it. Now the still the question is, sir, okay, you said follow the PI metrics, need to monitor that all the things is fine, but how I am going to do that? Now I'm going to just wait. I think again some kind of a format issue is there. I will be sharing my screen just a moment. Okay, I hope everyone is able to see the share screen. Just let me know by saying yes if everyone is able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen? Okay. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. I will be sharing the screen. Okay. Now see, this is one of the general format which we can use for making the like identification stakeholder and the management of the same. Now see, I have make a small table. So the first is the serial number. Right? Next is the stakeholder name. Next It is, the broad classification I'm making, it may be internal or the external. Why I'm making this table? Because I need to see if it is an internal, how I can taken care of them. If it is external, to whom I should contact to taken care of that. So that's why I'm making a division, whether it is internal or the external. Next, any kind of a relevant department. This department may be not possible for all the stakeholders, but if any kind of a department is there, I need to be taken care with them. Then I'm trying to find it out their interest and the power, and on the basis of that, what is the PI matrix suggest. Okay, so just take a case, project team. So project team is a part of my internal stakeholders. Department is the core team. Now the project team is having a high interest and the high power. You can see in the bottom, high interest, high power means manage closely. Low interest, high power is keep them satisfied. High interest, low power means keep them informed, and low power and low interest means monitor them. So now I can see second environmentalist. The environmentalist is there. External, he's external. Environmentalist, I have already given you the example. Like big project has been stopped because of the environmentalist, right? So department, like he's the external. Department is MPC and CPCB, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board and Central Pollution Control Board. These are the like government bodies who used to take care of the environmental concern of the project. Okay, so their interest is in any kind of a big project is high, and their power is very high. If they don't allow, the project is not going to start it. So power is very high, right? So they need to be managed closely. If they have any kind of a doubt, if they raise any kind of a question or concern, we need to reply them as soon as possible and sort it out their issues. Okay. Third, local community is there. So it is external. So department is surrounding society. Interest is low, power is high. So keep them satisfied. Right? So in this way, I can write it down different stakeholders of my particular project. I maybe write it down. It may be internal or it may be external. Right? I can write it down if any, maybe department is not possible everyone, but I can write it down the department if possible, interest and power, and on the basis of that, I can carry out the PI matrix. But what is the important is that, sir, okay, once we have done that, the thing which you have said, right? Okay, sir, we will do like that. But the issue is that what is the next part? How we are going to manage them? Right? How we are going to manage them? Now that we need to be also learn. This is the part. Once you're done with the PI matrix, how you are going to take care of them? Right? So understand and manage the key stakeholder. Right? Now, once you're done, whether we need to do the manage closely or intimate them, now you need to communicate with them and we need to engage them. How you're going to do is now see what financial or emotional interest do they have with your project. Is it positive, or it is a negative, or it is a neutral that you want to identify. What motivates them to uh, what motivates them to most of all, like what motivates them, right? Is there any way, or is there any motivation on which I can change their uh, tendency or psychology to in positive way to my project, right? What kind of information they are interested to, which are the way I can communicate with them. It may be over email, it may be by any kind of a brochures, it may be any kind of a paper, or whatever the information, or whatever the communication they want to have with me, right? What is the current opinion about my project? If it is a negative, can any way I can change it upon, like for example, many time what happen, specifically some of the project which we have seen, some kind of a, specifically it happens into the India, some of the old stone or some kind of a old uh, like god or goddess like statue, we find it out, right? That time the local people or the local community is having a lot of respect towards them, right? And they're having maybe they may be not interested into a project, but because something is identified from your land, piece of the land, or into a project, so they get a lot of attachment and to the interest into a project. So at that particular moment, you also need to take care of their sentiments, you need to take care of their emotions, right? If you're making a small temple for them, just so that they can also visit, they will be, all their direction towards seeing your project will be completely changed. Where they are considering you the villain or against you, they completely giving the favor of the project. This project is good because they have created a small temple where we can visit that god. that is, you completely change them over. For that, you need to identify what is their concerns, right? So how their decision can be influenced, how you can make them towards interested into a project into a positive way, right? So all this thing you may be required to find it out, right? Even you can ask some of the direct indirect questions to them, asking them their opinion about the project, how to improvise them. Many of the stakeholders find very good if you find them, give us the suggestions, right? Give us the way to improvise. They will be very happy, right? And the way you're going to find out the stakeholders, right? So for example, those who are supporting you or those who are having a positive attitude, you can use the different colors to showcase. If any kind of a person who or the community or the individuals who's negative about your project, you can put it into the red so that you can go to manage them accordingly. Sorted. Good enough. So thought for the day. Okay, so I'm going to have the next session on the project charter. So that time we are going to see one case study. So that same case study we are going to take into the next session in the next element. Okay, so the thought for the day: those who plan do better. That is my favorite thought. Those who plan do better than those who do not plan, even through the realistic to the plan. That is a Winston Churchill statement. Like, even you don't stick to your plan, but if you're planning, it is much more better that you don't have any kind of a plan. Fine, good enough. So anyone is having any doubt, any concern? Sorted. Good enough. Okay, so see you everyone in the next session. Okay, thank you.